into a new place. She's very proud of her place, as she should be, because it took her a while to get it. Um, she works from home, so her house is nice and peaceful and calm, just the way she needed. It's just her and her daughter. So her sister kept taking jabs at her. And so that's who she was arguing with. But I also didn't know that her mom was in the car in the back seat, and her nephew was also in the back seat. And this particular friend, when she is focused on whatever problem you have presented to her, she is focused on that problem. It don't matter if she's driving. I know this after years and years of being her friend. So it was like, oh my God. So last thing I heard, when I called her back, she had dropped them off and she was on her way to me and she started crying in the middle of I need you to pull over. I can't, I'm in traffic. Listen, all right, well, hang up, get yourself together. So she finally got to me. And what it boiled down to is we allow ourselves to be in situations that even if we tell other people not to be in those situations, like she said something about, she was talking about someone, I think it was one of her nieces, who went back with this guy after he abused her. And she's like, why would you go back to somebody who abused you? And I said that right back to her. I said, why would you go back to the people that abused you? Just because they're your relatives, your quote unquote family, does not mean that you need to subject yourself to this. Obviously it's bothering you. Obviously it's and you've been telling me this since we worked at Blue Cross and Blue Shield. I don't know. I'm gonna tie all of this together. Y'all stay with me. So I also have a cousin. This particular cousin isn't here anymore. This is my cousin who introduced me to drugs, basically. And she had been through some traumatic things in her life. And she tried to address these things with the people who she thought were supposed to protect her and keep her safe. Her mom and her mother did not keep her safe. And I remember as a child, I remember being like 5 years old and them screaming, her and her sister screaming for help for their mother, and her mother did not respond. I remember that as a kid. So it's not something that is made up. I know it firsthand, right? This particular, my cousin, I told you she passed away. Her mother just passed away. And I was telling her sister this same thing. I said, every time me and your sister sat and got high, the first thing out of her mouth after she took a couple of pulls or whatever we were smoking was my mother. For years. And you know me, listen, either you're going to take care of this problem or we're not going to talk about it. Go talk to your mother. Because she would be telling me this in a house where her mother was across the hall. In her bedroom across the hall. You can't walk 10 feet to your mother's door, knock on her door and say, we got a problem, we need to talk. Because she tried it. We always talk about communication being the thing that everybody needs to do, and that's what's going to help your relationship. You need to learn how to communicate. Fuck communication. You need to learn how to understand. Because people can try and communicate with you all day, but if you are hell-bent on misunderstanding them for lack of either your education or your will to, then you are not going to hear what the fuck it is that they're saying. You are not going to hear what it is they are saying. It is understanding that we lack. It is not, we communicating all the time. Everybody is everywhere saying everything it is that is on their mind all day. 24 hours a day. You could go onto your phone or any screen in your house or in your possession, and you could always find somebody communicating. You don't find a whole bunch of people understanding. Everybody wants to be heard. Nobody wants to listen. And that's where the problem is, because the other thing that we have done in this country, and this is the most insidious thing, and if I've said it here before, and I'm just gonna fucking say it again, you'll just hear it again, is that the most insidious thing done in this country to everybody is that we have been miseducated. Intentionally, though. It's the intentional miseducation, which is why this current administration, one of the first things they did was eradicate the Board of Education. Because the one thing you don't want is for people to use a tool that they have at their possession to use it against you. So you take away what even though it wasn't a tool, we weren't even using it as a tool. It was a tool used against us, but they wanted to make sure that it was a tool that we couldn't then turn around and use. So the Board of Education, the Federal Board of Education is gone. And this is the same playbook that plays out again and again. And we haven't caught on yet. And that's the terrifying part. That's the part that keeps me home, locked behind doors, because I don't want to face people, because I know that the things that you're going to say to me only expose the limits of your education. Every time you open your mouth, you do nothing. You're not showing people how smart you are. You are showing people the limits of your education. You're showing people where your education stopped, because everybody's going to talk about the thing that they think they know the most. The thing they think they know, that they think they've researched, the thing that they believe the best. So you're only exposing the limits of what you know. Every time you open your motherfucking mouth. So we lack understanding in ways that we don't even understand that we don't understand. I don't even know how to say that any plainer than we don't even understand how much we don't understand. The depths by which we have to claw our way out of are unimaginable, and particularly when you have a group of people who are denying that these things even exist. When you have a mother who will not listen to her daughter. And I don't know where to, I don't even know where to begin to tell people to begin to go and find that. Because for each person it's going to be different. And the one thing that we have to understand, another thing that we have to understand, that's not one thing, this is another thing that we have to understand, is how we aren't homogenous. There is no monolith to us. So everybody's playing field isn't level. Everybody is starting out from somewhere different. And it's not just high and low, it's back and front. It's diagonal. We are educated in different ways in all types of different spheres, and we do not understand that. So we hold other people responsible for the education that we think that they don't have, based on what we think, on the way that we believe that they should be living. What you think, what I think you should know about living, as opposed to understanding that there are as many ways to live as there are people on the planet. Everybody that gets here is going to have a different way to do something. Why do we keep thinking that everything needs to be done in one way? Why does it frighten you that other people have different ways of doing things than you do? That's what I don't understand. Why is it so? Why does it make something in a mother go? Why does it make something in the mother begin to tear her daughter down because her daughter has something that she doesn't have? Because this other video that I saw, and this shit, you of all people know how this rang in my spirit. This girl said, I resent the fact that I had to grow up with parents who were dumber than me. I resent the fact that I had to grow up with parents who did dumb shit for the reasons who told me that I didn't understand because I was a child, and once I was an adult that I would understand, and now that I'm an adult I still do not understand. She said our lights got cut off and my mother went and bought the biggest screen TV that I had ever seen in my life. And when I asked her about it, because I couldn't be quiet about it, like, how the fuck are we gonna even watch this shit? And my mother told me I didn't understand. I was ungrateful. Cussed me out from A to Z. Bitch, I still don't understand now that I'm an adult how it is you went and bought this big screen TV and we don't have electricity. We have to, it's a thing that we don't talk about. We don't like to talk about it because it's uncomfortable, but there are a lot of parents who are jealous of their children. There are a lot of parents there are mothers who don't like the fact that their daughters are pretty or might have pretty long hair, that their daughters might have friends or friendships and relationships that they didn't have when they were growing up, that their daughters are successful in ways that they didn't accomplish. How do you bring a child here and you're jealous of the child? How do you hate the fact that the child has accomplished more? I thought that was the whole goal. to make each generation accomplish more than the last generation. How are you jealous about that? How is it that you think that you are a fit parent when you have that mentality? You're not fit for parenting. Some of you should have just been fuck practice. You should not have been parents. I know you look at me like the shit that comes out of his mouth. I know. But listen, it is what it is. Y'all should have been fuck practice. Y'all should have been crash test fuck dummies. Yeah. Y'all should have been crash test fuck dummies. Nobody should have skeeted in you. Because you don't know how to, you barely know how to be a person. And yet you bring other people here and you can't teach them how to be good people. Because you don't know how. You can't give somebody something you ain't got. And then when your children go out and get more than what you had, you have the audacity to be jealous, you narcissistic motherfuckers. How dare you? Your children don't owe you to be to dim their light for you. They don't owe you that. They shouldn't have to quiet themselves in order for you to feel like you're heard in the house. If you can't speak above a child, I think the problem is yours. We have to rethink parenting in our community. We have to rethink the way that we look at each other. In fact, we need to rethink the way that we look at humanity, because the one thing it is that we refuse to admit to one another and to ourselves is that we are animals. And yet our behavior shows it to us at every single newscasting you can possibly view. That's the mirror right there, showing us what type of beings we are. We deny that we are animals. We think that because we have rules and regulations that we are above the animals, when the animals keep their order way better than we do. Except when we interfere, that is the only time that the animal kingdom becomes unbalanced. Lions know how many gazelle to eat. Hippos know how many bison to attack. It's us who haven't figured out who to leave the fuck alone. It's us who haven't figured out that we need to stay from around people who aren't like us. Animals know how to separate according to herd, according to breed, according to whatever it is that differentiates them. We keep trying to be this one homogenous motherfucking thing, and yet we keep touting things like our culture and our history and our tradition, which are all the things that make us different. How can we be homogenous if we hold on to all these things? How can we hold on to all these things if we are going to be homogenous? I want you to look at the psychosis in your behavior. I want you to look at how schizophrenic it is for you to try and live the life it is that you are living. You want to let go of all of the things that you want to let go of the racism. You want to let go of the sexism. You want to let go of all the isms, except for when it comes to the isms that are affecting your pocket and your comfort. Then you ain't got shit to say. If it's outside of your religionism, your baptism, your Catholicism, your Judaism, if it's outside of that ism, you want to get rid of it. But if it falls within the category of one of your little religions that you want to hold on to because you need somebody to make accountable, that is why you all have religion. Because you can't accept responsibility for your own fucking life. So you need somebody to blame everything on. You need somebody to hold accountable for when the things aren't going right. And here's the other thing that I think most people miss is that the only thing that religion does is keep poor people with the position of believing that rich people are going to get there someday. You fucking foolish mortals. You drank the Kool-Aid. You may as well be dead on the floor in Jonestown. Because you drank the fucking Kool-Aid if you believe that rich people are going to get there someday. Oh, it's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than a rich man to get into heaven. What heaven have you witnessed? Have you gone to heaven on the weekends for vacation? Was hell a wrong turn you made somewhere in life? All of these boogie-oogie things all of these little book of things that they keep trying to throw into your face and they keep you fearful with are things that are used to keep you fearful. They are things that are used to keep you from attacking the people who have oppressed you. They are things that are used to keep you from attacking the people who steal from your future generations. They are things that are used to keep you in place. They are things that are used to maintain the slavery in this country. Y'all think slavery ended with a Bill of Rights, one of them Bill of Rights things. You are sadly mistaken. They just converted it into mental slavery. See, we were talking about this video, and maybe I'll attach the link to the video with this particular podcast episode. And in the video, there's this young lady who was talking about how movies and things like that are used as collective hypnosis. Basically, they get everybody to feel the same things or think the same things or get used to the same ideas so that we are prepared for this apocalyptic situation that we are living in right now. But I'm gonna take you one step further. We're gonna go a little bit further than that. The other thing that these movies, because if you notice, during all these times, every time there is civil unrest, when there are wars that are breaking out, new developments that are causing people to know that their liberties are being infringed upon, they always throw on a movie that has to do with that on the premium cable channel. You'll always see a new Hunger Games episode. You'll always see some new Marvel movie, something where the hero wins. Something where they have to fight the good fight, and then the hero is going to be triumphant in the end. And they can have 6 or 7 editions to this bullshit, and we will all tune in for every single motherfucking episode. And do you know why? Because they have addicted us. Let me back up. Everything that you think has a chemical correlation. For everything you think, there's a chemical released in your brain. When you feel a certain feeling, there's chemicals that flow through your body when you are feeling a certain way. When you are angry, there's a certain chemical that is released. When you are sad, there's a certain chemical that is released. When you are happy, there is a certain chemical that is released. When you are having sex, there is a certain chemical that is released. All these chemicals, remember that there are all these chemicals for everything that you think. There's a chemical correspondent, okay? So if you are watching movies, and you see that this is why when you're watching movies, you begin to feel sad when something happens to the hero or the heroine, or when they are in love, you feel elated, and you notice that the music is rising and all these crescendos are happening and everything like that. It's going on because it's pulling your emotion in to release those chemicals. So that by the end of the movie, when the hero has won, you feel like whatever obstacles and things that were going on in your life are over. You have won. The game is won. We have triumphed. You have a government who has studied these types of things and implement them in our collective media. If you don't believe it, you can check the FBI files yourself, the CIA files, or whichever files. If you Google it, you'll find out exactly what I'm talking about. The government has the right to place propaganda into our media, and that is how they control our feelings so that we don't uprise. They start playing uprising movies, but at the end, the uprising is always quelled. So at the end, those chemicals flow through your body. You feel like everything that has happened, it is all right, even though it is not. You can watch it again and again, and you will feel like it is all right. That is why they play the news like it is a TV show. So that after a while, you can't tell the difference. All they know is your body is corresponding with this. Your body is it is like a symphony, and you have all these bodies all across the nation who are watching this at the same time, and all of us are feeling this energetically at the same time. Mass hypnosis, and we have not peaked it. We tune in. We write that we post about which new series has come out and which new show it is we're going to watch, not realizing there's so many different levels to the way that we use that each of us is used to kind of influence the others. Everybody is used to keep everybody else in check. Everybody is used to make sure everybody else complies. It's like the biggest game of peer pressure you ever want to be involved in. And yet, at this level, it's adults who are participating in this, and yet we expect kids to not succumb to peer pressure. We give them that message that you shouldn't give in to peer pressure, but what are they watching the adults do? Yeah, the hypocrisy, the psychosis in our society that we haven't dealt with. I'm part of it. I know. I got work to do on me as well. We all are. What it is we really need to begin to hold each other accountable for getting more information. We really need to hold each other accountable for being more conscious about the ways that our behaviors affect our entire community. We keep giving in to institutions that constantly oppress us. I'm sure the amount of people in Starbucks don't know how much money was given to the Trump campaign, but all those people downtown who voted for Kamala in this last election, they go into Starbucks every morning thinking that they're some type of liberal, not knowing that their money was used to fund the exact opposite campaign that they would have chosen. A lot of these stores, a lot of these people that we rely on for goods and services, and we haven't learned to depend on one another because we've been taught rather to not trust one another when it comes to goods and services. And here's the thing, like, there's a big thing about how black people don't trust each other and how black people don't come together. But all that was sown into our community. We hold each other responsible for those things, but the truth of the matter is those are things that were sown into our community. So many different things you come to find out, this is how, to me, social media should have been used, to give each other more information, because finding out something so simple is the reason why black people cover their mouths when we laugh, or while we run out of a room, or start hitting each other, or whatever the stereotype is because we couldn't laugh in front of white people at one time. So you had to run out the room if you were laughing. You had to cover your mouth if you were grinning, because that would have meant your life. It's finding out things like beating your children, which we take pride in, is something that was instilled in us from slavery. And I'm not talking about just the slave master whipping us. I'm talking about the fact that black parents would whip their children more and harder because they wanted to make it seem like, to the slave master that is, they wanted to make it seem like that they were taking care of the business that they would have. And they didn't want the slave masters to think that they had to follow up or do the job themselves, because that would put your life in danger. So that's where it comes from, black parents beating their children. And we don't realize that is trauma left over from slavery. We take pride in that. We take pride in beating the punishments and things that we dole out. We take pride in how many children we have, not knowing that there were plantations dedicated to making you breed, and they would make you fuck your mother, you motherfucker, in order to accomplish this, because you weren't even a person. You were just chattel. You were property. So they didn't see anything as anything wrong with that. But we take pride in having kids, in the proliferation, particularly even if it's the young men who do it and do it with multiple baby mamas. My own brother. At 4 or 5 baby mothers, God knows how many kids. Just for no fucking reason at all. Hasn't raised one. And yet he tells me I need to get my life together and get right with God. You see how fucked up and weird that is? He actually has the time to worry about what the fuck is going on in my life, but not the kids that he's left across the country. And that's the thinking that many of you have. And it's time for it to be over. Y'all are dragging us down. You are, mister. You really are. It's time to be smarter. Some of you haven't invested in that at all. And that's I don't know where we got to the point where it. I remember being in this program. I know the thought that I was getting ready to say is I don't know where we got to the point where education wasn't seen as something of value, and I got interrupted with the thought that I was in this program and as a teenager, and in this program, there were kids from all walks of life, and there was this one young lady who hated the fact that I could speak English well. So she started calling me the white man's pet because the people who hired us and who ran the company were white. So because they took me to the places where we had to do presentations and particular introductions for the company, they would take me. I know how to speak well. She was so jealous, she would call me the white man's pet. And there was a time when I felt kind of like, oh my God, like, what? Am I doing something wrong? No, not the fuck at all. It's that derelict ass bitch who don't have enough education to understand that the more information she has, the better she's going to fare in life. I don't know how we got here as a people, but it's a detriment. It's a detriment. Today, I was in a store right near my house, and I hate to say this because I hate that this type of ignorance is in my neighborhood. So I'm at the counter paying for the things that I'm there to get, and a couple of young black men walk into the store, and they have on backpacks. So the security in the store told them you have to leave your bags in the front. Now he wasn't picking on them because if I have a bag, he makes me leave my bag in the front. That's fine. I don't care. I don't want to carry a bag around the store anyway. That's too much shit for me to carry. So they start mouthing off as they're walking through the store, and I don't know what it was they were saying. Like whatever they were like trying to egg this man on to try to get him, I guess, to confront them, so that I don't know what they plan to do. I'm like, what type of thinking is that you think? But in my head, I'm like, this is all the power these children have, is their words. All they can do is that. The real power is in not listening to what the fuck it is they're saying and knowing that they are children. So that the lady who was ringing me up behind the counter, she's listening to them, and she's kind of like, what they saying, and now she's going back and forth with the other co-workers, and all of them are, responding to the kids in the back. I got on my headphones. I can hear them, but I'm not listening to them, and I don't give a fuck what they're saying because they're children. I understand y'all job is y'all gotta watch the store, and your job is not to respond to them at all like that. There's security here. Why are you like, it was a whole thing. It was a whole thing, and I'm trying to figure out, how do we get here as a people? First, the kids. How do you walk into somebody else's establishment and start disrespecting them when they ask you to follow the rules that they've set for their establishment? Why is this even a fucking thing? Look, I'd have told them, look, you can go take your shit and go the fuck back out. You do not have to shop here. There's another store 3 blocks that way. Yeah, the nearest store is a few blocks away. So you can shut the fuck up and come in here and buy what it is you need to buy, or you can go to fuck somewhere else. But then, the adults in the situation responding to the children in this manner. Now, I started out this whole conversation talking about communication and understanding and telling you about a scenario where the parents wouldn't even respond to the kids when they were yelling for help. And now we have a situation where we have adults responding to children, and it's not even an emergent situation. Our focus is off. The same friend that I was talking about earlier, this is one of the stories that she told me years and years, over 20 years ago. She asked me this question. This was still when I believed in Christianity and things like that. She said, if you were standing at the foot of the cross and Jesus was up on the cross, would you still pray for the things that you were praying for today if you were standing right there in front of him? Now, for those of you who are Christian or have been Christian or whatever, or know the reference from which I'm talking about, if you have ever believed in that direction, you get a deep sense of, wow. No, I would not pray for the same things. I would pray for something. I would pray for him. I would pray for something. I wouldn't be praying for a car. I wouldn't be praying for the man. I wouldn't be praying for the house or the job. I'll be praying for some other things like, oh God, please save all of us. There's something wrong with society. If your focus is off, As a people, our focus is off. And not saying we need to be looking at some superficial savior up on some make-believe cross or whatever happened. I wasn't there. Whatever. Um, what I'm saying is our focus is truly off. We can't even see the things that are right in front of us. Your children are right in front of you. Your life is right in front of you. The things that you can do. Have you gotten involved in something to help this situation? Which organization do you belong to that is going to fight? What is the name of your podcast where you give new information for all of us? What's your website with all your products so we don't have to go to these other stores? What are you doing? Because it's a popular sentiment that there's a big portion of the population sitting out this entire fight. And I would say that those people are fighting in a different direction. They are learning not just self-care, they are learning community care. They are learning a whole bunch of community enterprise. They are learning community works. In this time, we have not focused as a people. And I think many of us think that we need a leader. Like we're waiting on another Martin Luther King or another Malcolm X. All of these young kids who have these podcasts, these young people, younger than me is when I say young, I just mean younger than me. And even the ones who are older than me or my age. All these people who have podcasts and things like that who are trying to get this information out there so that we are not walking around as ignorant as we have been for the last 5 decades. Pick one. If you need a leader, pick one. See, the fact of the matter is we've never needed a leader. Even to come together as a community, we have never needed a leader. It is only when other people's voices came in that we needed that bullshit. We did it as community to make sure community was taken care of. It wasn't just regular, I need leadership in my everyday fucking life type shit. Some of us act like we need leadership in our everyday life. This one woman, and y'all know, I stay on social media. So you know what I'm getting ready to tell you is another story from social media. The woman was talking about how she was talking about how Christians were in her comments telling her that she was on a video talking about knowing herself and getting to know herself and what a journey that was. Christians got in her comments and told her that was a demonic spirit. To get to know yourself was demonic, that only God should know you like that. I wish my head could twist all the way around, like, because that's what it feels like it should be doing right. When I heard that, I'm like, what? Because we lack education. We lack education mostly because we lack focus. It is definitely intentional to have us miseducated. But your education is in your hands. There's too much for free out here right now. YouTube University, Hillman Talk, pick a struggle. But if you don't pick a struggle, one will be assigned to you. Yeah. And it won't be one of the ones that you had a choice in. We tend to think that things are all just going to get better, that the politicians that we've elected are going to step in and do their jobs, and they're going to come and they're going to save us. They are in the same boat as us. They are subject to the same cruelties as us. And we have to back them up. Now, this is something that I saw earlier. When I found this video, bitch, I'm going to send it to you because you know that I have been saying this over and over and over again. What's her name? Lene something. She's the girl who sits in the parking lot and she says, she does parking lot pimping. She says, it's Friday. I'm going to keep it black, but I'm going to keep it brief. That young lady, she said, oh, I was so excited when she said this. She said, now, The time has come that some of us are going to have to stop working. Did you hear what I said? How long have I been saying it? She said, and I don't mean 2 days. It's going to be a minute. I am so glad that someone who has a larger reach and a bigger voice in this particular instance has said the exact same thing, because you could see for me, I could see the writing on the wall for a very long time. It is not going to stop until you take all the motherfucking money out of their goddamn pockets. Until they see it leaving in droves, they will not understand and they will not relent. They're not going to see you as human. You can forgive, fuck that. That needs not be the focus. The focus needs to be getting as much money out of their motherfucking pockets as we possibly can. People are going to have to stop going to work. It's going to have to be a collective strike of people not going to work. I said this for so long, y'all going to have to stop going to work. It's going to take y'all not going, because they don't understand anything but their money leaving. Unfortunately, some of you don't understand it yet either. You think that if you continue to go to work that everything will be all right as long as you keep working. You'll be able to make enough to make ends meet and da-da-da-da-da. I want you, just please join me in this. Think better. Know for a minute that you deserve better. And then believe that you can have better. We have to start there. If we don't believe that we can have better, we won't have better. We have to start with the belief that we can have better. Once we start believing that we can have better, we'll do better. Y'all with me? But mark my words, in the coming weeks, and I'm going to make sure I post this with the date and everything so that when it happens, I can refer y'all back to this motherfucking video where I said y'all are going to have to stop working. People are going to have to it's going to have to grind to a halt. I don't know what else it is y'all think it is that can happen. You can't vote your way out of the situation. You can't elect enough motherfuckers to get it right. So I need everybody to play their part. Load up your sick days or whatever. Save your personal days, whatever it is you need to save to get through this, because that's what it's going to have to be. That's what it's going to have to be. And in the meantime, if it does come to that, those of you who are home with your children, listen to your children. Begin to find ways to understand what it is your children are. How about this? I'm gonna pull up close and I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this. Find out what it is your kids aren't fucking telling you. Because you ask your kids how was school all the time, don't you? And they go, fine. And you might even go so far as say, oh, so what'd you learn today? And they'll tell you some math shit or some other shit. You have to learn to ask better questions. So, who mistreated you today? Did somebody say something to you today that, hurt your feelings? Did you have a good day or a bad day as far as your feelings? Who's your new best friend? Who's the kid in your class who most people don't talk to? Teach your kid to be a better person. We keep letting, and this is the most retarded shit, we go through school, meaning y'all, because I ain't got kids, and then y'all will let y'all kids go through the same shit that y'all went through. Well, I was all right. No, you weren't, bitch. Let me tell you for real. As a friend. You still ain't all right. And what kills me is your lack of will to do better for your children. These people who you claim to want to die for. Well, why don't you live better for them? We don't have to go to death at all. Fuck that. Live better for them. How about that? Become a better person for your kids. Because there's going to come a day where your kids are going to figure out exactly what type of person you are. And if you're lucky, they'll like you. It's not automatic that your kids are going to grow up and they are going to love and cherish you because you were a parent who provided a roof over their head and gave them food. Because that don't mean shit. That was your responsibility. That was the minimum responsibility. That was just the legal responsibility. You signed up for a lot more, and a lot of you don't even discuss that with your kids so that your kids don't grow up and do the same dumb shit that you did, having more kids than you fucking need, than is fucking necessary, than you can fucking handle. Because there's one job in the world that I know that has no vacations, and that's parenthood. There are no breaks. Because even if you have a family and a community and a village and everything like that, and you get to send them off every so often so that you get some free time to yourself, you're still going to worry about them that whole time they're gone. If you're a real parent, you are. You want to make sure that they are right, that they're safe, that nobody has abducted them, that nothing has happened, that any of the dangers that you have imagined happening to kids or saw on the news happening to kids hasn't befallen your kid because they've been out of your sight for more than 12 hours. Yeah. None of y'all don't know about that. Y'all really don't give a fuck most of the time. Kid could be laying dead in the street. And I come from a generation where we were outside all day and our parents couldn't even get in contact with us, but they knew that we were all right because they had trained us well enough to know that we weren't going to do anything to try to put ourselves into danger. We might do it accidentally, but we wasn't going to try to do it. Y'all kids try to do it. Y'all kids will go on TikTok, see somebody set themselves on fire, walk back in the house and do the exact same fucking thing, and I've seen it. Those are y'all children. Because you failed them. You haven't taught them that that's a dangerous thing that they should not do. You haven't given them that wisdom in some shape, form, or fashion. You thought you did. You thought you had a smart child. That's what you told all your friends. Oh, my kid's so smart. Oh, you should see his grades. He got straight A's, but he's a fucking dummy. In real life, in common sense, he set himself on fire in the kitchen. Burnt all his new school clothes up. Because you don't spend time with him. You so busy ready to send him into the room to go play the video game so that you can have a break. Because it's all about you. But yeah, I just wanted to highlight y'all about that. Today was just such an interesting day. When the first grenade went off, I was like, oh my God, like what is this day going to be? And then it actually turned pretty productive. I was able to go home and I was able to do some laundry and some other things and get myself together and actually come and do this and be productive a little bit today. So I feel better. But here's the takeaway. If you don't take away anything else, don't let anybody, if it's your parents, I don't give a fuck, your parents, your brothers, your sisters, nobody should be locking you into a situation where you feel so fucking uncomfortable. Nobody. You have to believe. There's one thing that I don't think that many of us understand, and I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna shut the fuck up. I ain't gonna even hold you. And this is a part that we don't understand. And I was thinking about this earlier as I was on my way over here. I thought about all of the relationships I had that didn't work out the way that I thought they would. Like I thought each one would be the last relationship type of thing. And then I look back at some of the other relationships that I had at the same time, like familiar relationships where I let people in my family walk all over me or use me in certain ways that where I didn't even want to be used. And I'm like, okay, but those were two different things. No, they're not. They are the exact same energy. If you will allow it over here, you will allow it over here. So you can't ask for this particular person of this caliber and you're still allowing people in your family to treat you any old type of way and use you as a doormat. Those two don't go together. Don't think because you're doing all this shit for your family that the perfect mate is gonna show up, because if they see you being a doormat, you ain't gonna attract somebody but who's gonna wipe their feet on you. That's what you will attract. So some of us have that, transferred thinking where we think if we allow it over here, that our romantic relationships that doesn't affect our romantic relationships. It's all your energy. It's all your energy. If you're allowing it, you're allowing it. I don't care if it's from this person and not from this person. Don't allow it. We have to get to a point where we don't allow certain things if we want things to change. You say you want things to change, then you got to be the one to change them. And what that usually means is not doing something different, but responding differently. You can't ask for the situation to change if you're going to continue to act a fool every time things don't go your way. So take your own inventory. Find out where it is that you can change your vibration, where you can focus, where you can learn to understand as opposed to trying to communicate something. You can be the one who's trying to understand. You are the one who's now trying to learn something to bring your education level up so that the next time somebody is talking to you, you have a new frame of reference from which to understand them. Because that's the only way we're going to get through this. So I love y'all. I thank y'all. Y'all come the next time you see me out here having a conversation with a friend of mine. I'll holler.